Till today, I am still vulnerable and I'm emotionally traumatized. I felt I was thrown under the bus after all the years I put, I believe, an eye for an eye. For 2 days, I gave this guy horrors. I made sure I almost put that guy to the point of suicide. Some people can't take it. How many times have you experienced people walking up to you and insulting you directly? I can't even mention some of the insults. One guy now puts under my comment, "Are you still alive?" So I gave him, I brought his whole family into it. I don't believe in slap one cheek and turn the other one. No. Because if you do that, there are some idiotic people that would mistake that for weakness. But people just come and they're very heated. And this is the same people that when Namibia and South Africa came and tagged us, our country, Abegistan, none of them could talk back. That's why I prefer my enemies to friends, because my enemy is not pretending. The real estate industry, it's armed robbery. You real estate people, you people are supposed to be bundled in one, put in one dungeon. $1.5 million. If I have, I have $1.5 million. I'm not going to give it to you guys. Any developer that sells a house for $1.5 million, squeeze his neck, give him, choke him. What kind of nonsense is that?
Before we continue with this conversation, I want to take a quick moment to say something to everyone watching. My goal with this platform is simple. I want to build one of the most impactful conversation platforms coming out of Africa. But that only happens if the right people find these conversations. So if you're watching this and you enjoy the discussions we've been having here, I want to ask you for a small favor. Please subscribe to this channel, because every subscription helps this conversation reach more people who needs to hear them. And I promise you this, that if you stay with this channel, we'll keep bringing you conversations that are honest, thoughtful, conversations that challenge how we think about success, influence, legacy, and conversations that are genuinely worth your time. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, please subscribe and let's keep growing this community. There are people who are famous, and then there are people who become part of the fabric of a nation. My guest today is the latter. For 13 years, he walked into living rooms across the country without saying a word. He made an entire nation hold its breath. Children hurriedly completed their assignments not to miss this show. Families canceled appointments. Arguments stopped. Because when he was on that screen, the entire Nigeria went silent. He is a broadcaster. He is a filmmaker, a man whose voice sold dreams. We call him the king of suspense. Ladies and gentlemen, today on Key to Keys show, we have Frank Edoho. Good to have you here. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Most people know Frank from the hot seat. And the journey started in animal science and rap.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So who was Frank before the lights came on?
Well, Frank is basically the same Frank after lights came on, because the character that I had on my game show was my character too. That's how you can sustain a character, because you cannot hoodwink people. You cannot pretend to be something for such a long time as 13 years. So you have to bring elements of yourself into the show and everything. So I'm basically the same person. I'm basically regular. I'm just a regular guy that was born in Kano, went to primary school in Kano, secondary school in Calabar, university in Calabar. And then I came to Lagos, DBN TV, Radio Nigeria, and then I started Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, did other things. So I'm just the same guy who was raised by my grandmother in Calabar, my parents in Kano, and had an insane, uncanny ability to thrive by myself. At a very young age, and I'm very happy for that, because that gave me independence, and it gave me the platform to sit back and say, okay, you know what, this is what I want to be based on what I see myself as, So I knew from a tender age that I was going to be famous, but I didn't know how.
How?
I didn't know
Okay.
how. So people thought, my young friends used to think it would be acting, but
Did you ever consider acting?
I hate acting. Not that I hate the craft. I hate that. So my standard of acting is like method acting of Daniel Day-Lewis, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett, Robert Downey Jr. Those are the kind of. So I don't think I can be in that cadre. So I stuck to what I know best, being myself on TV.
You walked out of the biggest platform in Nigeria in 2017.
2017, yes. Yes.
A lot of people thought that was a mistake.
They did?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was like a household name.
Yes.
Everyone wanted to watch something, not just because of the show, but because of you, how you anchored it, and how you made everyone hold their breath. And you walking out, people thought, why?
Well,
Because that was what shot you into limelight, right? Or was it something else?
yeah, it wants to be. I mean, I was on radio. I worked for Radio Nigeria. That's the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. I worked for 4 years, and once you can work on radio for 4 years, but not get as much popularity or fame as you would if you worked on TV for 1 month.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire sort of came to an end when our sponsor withdrew. So, yes, I don't know if I can mention brand names here, but our sponsor, stayed with us for a decade, sponsoring the show. Then, I think the federal government fined them based on some industry. I think it was just like a punitive measure for one corporate thing that happened. I can't go into details, but that affected the sponsorship of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So they said, hey guys, we can't do this anymore based on the fact that we have to pay an incredible sum of money back to the federal government. So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire stopped. So I went into negotiation because we heard that other sponsors were interested, and I wanted to be an executive producer. I wanted to have a stake in it because I feel that I built myself up to the extent that I assumed I was an asset to the show, and so we're having, differences in negotiation. And I think, was it Punch or so, one newspaper that went and said that I was dropped based on the fact that the relaunch of the show with the new sponsor, I wasn't anywhere to be found. And of course, they would draw conclusions based on that. So they now said I was dropped from the show, which was false. And I gave my statement. I said, okay, you know what? This is it. I felt I was thrown under the bus after all the years I put into the show. So I walked away.
How has life been after that? Were there challenges after that scenario?
Absolutely not, because Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was just like a portal through which people would see what I could offer in broadcasting and other industries. I was one. I mean, I still am one of the most in-demand master of ceremonies in Nigeria for high net worth events and all that. So I used to do a lot of events. I don't think there's any bank or any company that I haven't done an event for. End of year parties, AGMs, birthday parties, weddings. And I still do. As a matter of fact, yesterday, former President Olusegun Obasanjo did a birthday party, organized a birthday party in honor of Senator Florence Giwa at the Delborough Hotel. I anchored it yesterday. It's just that I wasn't on TV anymore. Yeah, but I was still doing a lot of stuff. I learned photography, cinematography, doing media, practicing. I offer tutelage to people who want to communicate better. So I do a lot of lecturing and training for people on one-on-one basis and stuff like that. I consult for companies. I produce, like those for 2.5 years. I produced Nemasa This Week, a TV program.
Yeah.
For 2.5 years. I was the producer. So, I used to do a lot of things, but like I said, when someone asked me, we don't see you again. I say, you don't have to see me. I said, do you see billionaires flaunt their wealth or say, okay, this is what I'm doing? No, they don't. They move in silence. They move in silence like the G in lasagna. I got that from Lil Wayne. so that's, so my life didn't change. And till even now, people recognize me everywhere, so my life just changed just because I stopped. I wasn't visible on TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think I still carried the clout.
Let's talk about your banter on Twitter.
Talk to me.
Some people feel you shouldn't be exchanging words with people on Twitter.
That's their opinion. And they have a right to it. See, I'm a grown man. And if I'm on any platform, how many times have you experienced people walking up to you and insulting you directly? It's not, but social media, everybody thinks it's a level playing ground. So someone will go and start insulting somebody. We are having a conversation and you just start insulting the person and start throwing tantrums, and insulting people. Like there's a trend now going on there, insulting one musician and all that, insulting her and her husband and everything. So people have opinions. So you shouldn't take opinions personally. You should know, okay, this is this person's point of view, and try to convince them to sway their views over to yours. Or if you can't, then you leave it. But people just come and they're very heated. And this is the same people that when Namibia and South Africa came and tagged us, our country, Abegistan, none of them could talk back. No Nigerian. They were calling me to come and help them. I said, no. I said, no. You do it. No. That's that vitriol that you spew on people. Use that and fight another country. Namibia and South Africa, they got us in a chokehold like this. They got us in a... See, I can't even mention some of the insults. Till today, I am still vulnerable and I'm emotionally traumatized for what Namibia and South Africa did to us. And these guys, they don't know. They know how to insult their fellow countrymen. But when it comes to external warfare, it's double standards. You understand? So anybody that insults me, not that all of them, I just pick one and I make an example of them. Because I'm a broadcaster. And the thing is that most broadcasters have this ability because we're trained. We're trained in the art of being politically correct, and able to throw veiled insults. Because we yours seems beyond training. If it seems inert, it's there.
Yeah.
I think I apply some talent in there too. I think so. The thing is, and when you don't try me, you don't hear me. That's the thing. I mean, you should give. Okay, do you know somebody committed suicide last year? A guy just committed suicide. These are the things that cause people's mental health to be imbalanced, because sometimes they can't. Some people can't take it.
That's true.
Some people can't take it. So I think I'm just the representation of what you shouldn't do to a fellow human being. Because if you do it, you are going to collect. Okay, a few days ago, so one guy let me start. Let me make it as short as possible. So there was this AI video of me telling people to give one lady money. It's on Facebook, and they used my face, but it wasn't they tried to clone my voice, but they didn't get it. But and my face and my voice in the video they were telling people to give money to a certain lady who can double it or quadruple it and stuff like that. And people fell for it, and they came to my page. So I went to the link and I saw this. I said, first of all, that's not my voice. Secondly, you can see it's AI. Thirdly, there's nothing in the world that allows you to give somebody money and in a week they give you 4 times the amount. Anything you hear like that is fake. You understand? I mean, you cannot be deprived of money to the extent that you believe anything anybody brings to you. You understand? So I now had to do a video. I had to do a post on Twitter and Instagram saying, you guys don't indulge this person. One guy now puts under my comments, are you still alive?
Oh my goodness.
For 2 days, I made sure I almost put that guy to the point of suicide for 2 days. Because I looked at it, I just laughed. But I said, no. What if he did this to somebody? And so I brought his whole family into it. And I must have done like 30 posts. I was insulting him back to back to back. I said, I'm sorry. I know people watching him say, why are you doing this? See, firstly, I've always told people, I am not anybody's role model. If you have children, don't tell them to follow me, my behavior. Tell them that guy is not a role model. Ignore him. I said this many years ago. I said, I'm not doing things because, first of all, I feel role modelism is hypocritical. Because I appear on TV and suddenly you say I'm a role model. You don't even know my history. You don't know if I have the ability to
That's true.
accept or to do things that would make you look at me as a role model. So you can't just see everybody on TV and say, hey, you should be a role model for them because people are watching you. No. I said no. Because my antics will cause your children either to start doing things like me, and you wouldn't like it. But I don't do things like that. I believe an eye for an eye. I don't believe in slap one cheek and turn the other one. No. Because if you do that, there are some idiotic people that will mistake that for weakness.
That's true.
And they'll be bullies and still continue doing that. The guy said, how can you say, are you still alive? I gave this guy horrors. I gave him, people were saying, Frank, please. I said, no. This guy, I'm going to drive him to depravity. I did that. See, I did it. I went back to back. I woke up. I said, there was something I was doing. I have not gone. Oh, that guy. I went again and I was giving him back to back. The thing is, see, you see this country, You see this country. This country, they're all about talk. No action. No action. You see somebody, if you don't talk, they'll say, you're not talking against the government and everything. But I say, but you guys don't listen to me in the first place. Because there are some things I will say that you say, Frank, you are a fool. Why are you? So you don't even listen. So why do you want me to talk to the government? If I do, now, some people say, oh, hail. Some people say, oh, some people supporting the government will come and start insulting. Then you won't come and defend. You won't come and defend me. Then later, when I'm in trouble, then you will now say, who sent you, Frank? You understand? So I understand this country very well. So that's why I don't comment on some issues. Like if somebody's having problem with that, I don't put myself there. If there are some issues I want to talk about, but I can't because I'll just probably be annoyed that one little vermin will just come and say, hey, this, and talk something that will even make me want to implode. So, back to the savagery thing. I do it so that I'll be the microcosm for saying no to bullying. Because it's bullying.
Were you ever bullied?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Well, as a kid, I was. And they used to beat me a lot. So my mouth was all I had. So they'll be beating me and I'll be insulting you till the bullies left me. So when they want to bully me, when new bullies come, the old bullies say, don't go. That guy, you just leave him. You will kill him. You still be talking. So that's why I feel that people shouldn't bully people because they have outlandish opinions,
That's true.
especially on social media. No, I don't think so.
You spent 13 years as the most recognized face on Nigerian television.
I wouldn't say most recognized face.
Oh well, I mean, I think yours transcends time because Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was more or less like the first show that captivated someone beyond Telemundos. Actually, was
And beyond, what about Super Story?
Super Story. Yeah,
Super Story was
Super Story.
Super Story gave us a run for our money.
It did.
Super
It
Story.
did.
Super
It really
Story
did.
Was
But for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it was intellectual. You held people spellbound.
yeah.
The emotions, it was something else. So I was looking forward to it. Everyone was looking forward to it. And then when that man got that money,
Yeah.
the 10 million naira,
Yes.
it's something I still find myself going through Google to read about him.
Yes. That guy is very intelligent guy.
He is intelligent.
Yes, Aroma for decade.
So intelligent. And I think he was the only person in Nigeria
Only person that won 10 million.
that won the 10 million, answered all the questions.
Yes.
You started in Calabar.
Calabar.
Yeah, you were born in Kano.
I was born in Kano,
Yes.
Kano State.
So you speak Hausa very well.
No. I went to a missionary school in Kano.
Oh, okay.
My principal was British.
Oh.
So all of us, we had house, but no, I wasn't. And even at home, we stayed in a place called No Man's Land. It's like a GRA area. Yes. So I was born in Sabongeri. So Sabongeri is where I should have learned Hausa. But we moved to No Man's Land. Then I started going to school at St. Louis. You understand? So St. Louis Primary School, Kano. So we all spoke impeccable English. And I like it because, it helped me become, and my dad was like an orator. My dad never went to university, but he spoke like a professor. My dad. Yeah, spoke. There are English that my dad spoke. I've not heard anybody speak till now. Like my dad would say, let's say young man, how does he used to put it? He wants to say that you are getting annoying. You say young man, your level of recalcitrance is burgeoning.
Oh my goodness. And this is how he spoke on a regular day.
That's why. God bless his soul. He passed on in 2019. He speaks like that. So and the fact is that he didn't know that I could speak like that. He didn't know that I was absorbing it. So I now, so I think he was responsible for the way I speak. My dad will just say, when he wants to say you are not focused. And even he said, I don't know if it has to do, it can't be genetics because your sister, that one is completely off the rails. That's how my father used to speak. He would speak English like that. My little brother would be looking at he's confused. I don't even know what he's saying.
But I'm sure everyone, if you have a father like that, it's somehow going to pass down to the children.
Oh, it must pass down because all of us, we speak very well.
Oh, okay.
We speak very well. And the irony is, we were still speaking pidgin English.
Oh.
In the house. So it's just strange. We're speaking pidgin as alpha now. But when it's time for us to speak English, everybody's impeccable. So it's true. My father would be like, I say chaos. I say if you do that again, chaos will ensue. Stuff like that. So
I'm sure he read lots of Shakespeare.
He read a lot. We even did a book review for Things Fall Apart.
Oh.
Yeah, he did a book review for us and everything. So he taught us.
That's an interesting child. I don't think we really have such kind of homes.
No, we don't anymore. Because now the irony is technology affords us the opportunity to have a whole library in our phone, but we don't read anymore. We don't, even including me. One of my resolutions is go back to reading, you understand, so that I could. So I've taken a couple of books, Moonwalking with Einstein. Then I'm trying to read Shakespeare. so that I'll get phrases like, he said, they say, the face can never reveal the construction of the mind. Stuff like that. So that's from Macbeth.
Yes.
Macbeth, Shakespeare. So I want to get into the modern version of Shakespeare and read so that I can get some phrases. I have to replenish my database of phrases and stuff like that. And I create phrases on my own too. Like I used to do it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So when it's time for it, because I know that there are template phrases that I have to use. That's the thing broadcasters don't do. They repeat themselves over and over again. Well, you can repeat yourself, but if it becomes annoying because you are repeating yourself, same old thing, same old thing, you're not a broadcaster. So you're supposed to know the different phrases to use. So if I want to take a break, I go, all right, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. But I can't say we're going to take a commercial break right back every time. So I can say, all right, hang on. I say, hang on, don't move. I'll see you on the other side of this break. Or I can say, I'm going to take an MTN break, but not to worry. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Stuff like that. Then I change it. That's what will make you different. You cannot repeat yourself. That's the thing I tell broadcasters, the people I train. I say you have to have your own phrases. You have to construct them. I
think it transcends broadcasting in life. You just have to keep reinventing yourself, learning new things and changing.
Because
times are actually changing.
Yeah.
Years ago it wasn't smartphones and all of that. So things are changing. And if you keep staying with the old, you may be left behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing MC work, so I go above and beyond. I do like event planning along with the MC thing. So if we have an awards now, I'm not going to leave it to the event planner alone. So I know that, okay, this award is going to be presented by this person and I'm hosting. Then when that person goes, I go backstage. I say, okay, so who's next? Get them, let them sit and everything. So I'm doing a lot of back end work and that differentiates me from but other people are like, nah, it's not my job. I'm just here to talk. Master of ceremonies means master of ceremonies. That means you are in charge of not only the stage, you're in charge of the comfort of your guests, cuisine, drinks, everything. If you see that portion is not being served, you go and tell them, hey, there's dead activity over there. You guys make sure that this service is everywhere at once so that the guests don't get angry and flop your event just because you didn't serve them drinks on time and other people are drinking. Stuff like that. So it's always good to differentiate yourself.
Let's talk about your success story. From Calabar to Lagos, how much of your success was talent and how much was simply choosing the right location at the right time?
See, you can't overthink these things because you can never know if this is the right location. It's only later you find out, it was the right location. Because you can't overthink and say, all right, now I'm going to go to Lagos. Then when I get to Lagos...
Well, a lot of people say that
say what?
Lagos is the land of opportunity. If I come here, things will change. So there is already like an optimistic view on relocating or moving to Lagos. You didn't have that?
But the thing is that I moved to Lagos because Lagos is the hub for broadcasting.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah. So in Calabar, I used to do broadcasting in Calabar. So I was like a big fish in a small pond. So I decided to come to the ocean. And people say, hey, the ocean's going to swallow you up and everything. I said, don't worry, I'm going to go with a tugboat. So I came and I looked at it differently. I said, you know what? I am not going to, the way broadcasting is done now, I'm not going to go and be that. I'm going to bring my own flavor and make sure I impact the industry. So I think I was one of the first people to do like informal broadcasting on TV because people were too serious on TV. Hello. Welcome to the program. My name is this. I can sleep. I'll just start snoring after 2 minutes. You understand? But if you go like, hi folks, welcome. Boy, are you in for a treat tonight? You are very interesting and you use that to carry people to the segments. And before you know it, they'll watch the whole program and say, the program was fantastic and that host was good.
True. That's true.
So that's
I think you always left an impression.
yeah. So I brought all those things all together. You can't, some people just rely on their voice. So I have people who have great voices, but they don't articulate. They don't have the content. What are you saying with that voice? So if you have and you must not have seen people who don't have good voices, but they know they have good content. You understand? I've seen people who their voices are not like alluring. But what they are saying is, so you have to have everything.
Everything.
Yeah, you can't just say, because I have a deep voice. So you hear people, hi, I hope you're enjoying the rubbish.
I think that's even temporal, because that could, carry the audience for just a very short time.
Yeah, because you are not really saying anything. So the novelty of your voice will fade very soon, and they'll be like, this guy has a good voice. He's talking nonsense.
What's the hardest lesson you've learned?
In life?
In life.
Yeah, in life. The hardest lesson I've learned in life is make yourself happy. Don't let your happiness be dependent on the existence of someone else. And it goes in everything, marriage, friendships, don't. So be happy by yourself. And if you have somebody that, makes you happier, good. But if the person goes away, you go back to being happy with yourself instead of saying, oh, my source. So I think that's that's the thing I regret. I mean, making other people a source of my happiness. But you have to. So now I'm the source of my own happiness. And now I see life differently. And life is good. Before, since I'm dependent on another person so if that person doesn't show up, I'm hollow. You understand?
Yeah.
But now by myself, life makes more. If you find happiness in yourself, that's when you will now know that you will now be philosophical about life. You will look at a butterfly and be, that. Then some philosophies will start entering because you know what, you don't depend on anybody. You are just resonating life, and you're looking at life, and even though there's hardship, you are still happy. That's the funny thing.
I think this is a very important conversation. When we had Chude, he touched on it, joy, and he resonated with so many people, because the truth is we try to derive joy, happiness from happenings, things around us.
Thank you.
Friends, family, lovers,
even
money,
material things, yes.
And we don't look inward. And after that session, a lot of people had this moment of reflection, sober reflection.
Oh, yes.
Because I got lots of calls.
Oh, yes.
So you talking about it again means, this is a conversation that a lot of people aren't having. And sadly, as Africans, we don't really believe in therapy like that.
See,
So
I think therapy helped me. It helped me a lot on my self-discovery journey. So when I was on Chude's podcast, and I told him about depression. See, the irony is, if you find true happiness in yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to be depressed. Depression only comes if you depend on somebody. And if you depend on somebody, that factor is variable, it's not fixed.
yeah.
What if the person leaves you? What are you going to do? What if your reason for happiness disappears? You like material things. Are you going to be sad when you're broke? So it made me realize a lot of things. So I told Judy that, that my depression was so intense that how I used to cure it was with sad songs. So I have a playlist of sad. I still do. I love sad. So I jog to sad music.
Oh my goodness.
You understand?
That's the first.
But now I still listen to sad music, but not to cure depression anymore. You understand? It was so. Look, he said, "What?" I said, "Yes." I said, "See, this depression you're talking about. I was a professor of it, but because I learned how to have this poker face and mask a lot of things in. And I was trained as a broadcaster that when you cross the threshold of the door of the studio, just leave your depression outside. And so I implemented that in life also. So when I'm sad and I want to do, in 2023, the most terrible day of my life, it happened on a Friday, and on Saturday I had an event. And when I went to the event, Poker Face was one of the best events I ever did.
Wow.
But towards the end of the event, depression was telling me, "Oh yeah, are you finishing? Sure, you are finishing that your act. Oh yeah, come to me." So the thing, I go back to it, and I was grappling with it, but I didn't know that I have to be happy by myself, because I was dependent on people for happiness. You understand? I can be dependent on my children. Now, children, that's not a variable factor. That's fixed. You understand? So even then, you shouldn't depend on your children. What if they are not what you want them to be? They're going to disappoint you. So I don't depend on them. So anytime I'm like, hey, you better shape up. I tell my son is a Gen Z guy, and he goes, yes, sometimes he goes, hey, dude. I said, who's dude? I'll slap your left ear. Who's dude? He said, you are dude, man. What are you talking about? You're dressing like us. You're doing this. And, then you say, I want some money. I'll be like, okay, I don't have money, but stop calling me dude. If I call my father dude, by now I'll have paralysis in my left ear. So don't, then he goes, okay, no problem. But dude, are you giving me the money or not? That's Gen Z for you. But, I decided to make myself, through therapy. Therapy helped a lot. So when I finally found myself, you understand? So I now have boundaries. I have boundaries. Now, my self-worth is so great. I have boundaries. Sometimes some people would try me, and I'll be like, I'll just smile. Because if you have self-worth and self-love, you're not going to be provoked because you're sure of yourself. You're not going to be provoked by little things. But when, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be provoked at all. You can be provoked sometimes. When they cross the boundary, you tell them, hey, stop it. You don't want to see the other side of me. It doesn't mean if you're happy with yourself, you should tolerate everything that people do to you. So depression was something else. So when I told Chude about the playlist, and he said, okay, so how did you handle your depression? What did you learn in? And I told him this. I said, you know what I know? I said, depression hates joy. It was like an epiphany for Chude. So he said, that is, it was so profound for him. And I said, I think Chude went through this depression journey. Then I saw his book, How Depression Saved My Life. I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. You have to have self-love, self-worth, self-awareness. Don't allow even your mother be a source of your happiness. Don't allow it. Your mother can make you happier. But if you say that is the source of my happiness, no, that's the beginning of the end.
One more thing. Key to Keys is powered by Edoho Realty, one of Nigeria's leading real estate companies committed to helping people across the world invest safely, wisely, and profitably in Nigerian real estate. In a market where people are scared of making the wrong investment decisions, we have remained committed to helping people buy real estate with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. So if you're watching this and you are looking to invest in real estate, or you know someone who is actively looking to invest in real estate, whether from here or anywhere in the world, stay connected to Eden Oasis Realty. Subscribe, follow us across all platforms, visit our website, or call the numbers showing on your screen, and let's help you build not just wealth, but real legacy through real estate.
If you are easily affected by what someone says about you, that means you believe it.
Okay.
That means you believe it. Like if someone says, even if you are fat, why are you angry? Because you really are. And if you don't like being fact, why don't you do something about it? So why are you now carrying it about and getting angry when someone tells you the truth? You know. So I was like, that's true. But it's difficult because some people have problems that they grapple with. And if someone states that problem, it's just a reminder that they're supposed to do something about it and they get upset. So why don't you switch it to motivation? Someone says, hey, you are fat. I'm like, man, get in line. I know that myself, I know that I'm fat, but I'm going to do something about it. But if you do that to me on a social media post, I'm going to give it to you. Like somebody, okay, I used this on Bayou when I was in the show the second time. You understand, So somebody said, I used it on Twitter, then I used it on Bayou. So on Twitter, no, somebody met me. So I posted what happened when someone met me. This guy is fat. The guy now tells me, bigger than I am. He now tells me, Frank, it's like you're adding weight. Then I said, true. But my friend, you are multiplying it, So I now brought it to Bayou. I said it on Bayou. People went crazy. You understand? The guy couldn't take it. The guy was like, was multiplying. He went red in the face. I said, dude, you started it now. You started it. How can you be fat?
Goodness.
You like this. You're bigger than me and you're complaining that I'm adding weight. Man, look in the mirror. So, So, yeah, I handle crisis in different. I've learned how to handle crisis on my own. People spaz out, and when they want to handle crisis, they go to the internet because they feel the internet is their home. It's not. The people who want to know about you either want to see your downfall or they are just curious regarding when your downfall is going to really start. You don't have friends on social media. You might have friends, even your real friends secretly want you to fail. You understand? That's why I prefer my enemies to friends, because my enemy is not pretending. Nobody pretends to be your enemy.
Exactly.
They are. So I admire them for that. At least they are truthful to me.
Yeah.
But some of my friends are not truthful.
Do you ever have self-doubt, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I learned not to have self-doubt.
Oh.
Yes, you shouldn't have self-doubt.
Okay.
Self-doubt is the beginning of your destruction. Now, even if it is so, you understand? Even if what you are doubting yourself about is real, you understand? The thing is, self-doubt only compounds the problem. Okay, so I was on a podcast and somebody was telling me, you appeared in Bayou's show. It was you went viral and everything. I said, yeah, that's what I do. It went viral and everything. Then the guy, so when I went for Bayou's show, that was when I was experiencing a change in my life. I had separated from my ex-wife. We're having problems. So nobody knew. So I was handling it while I went to that Bayou's show. So now I was grappling with the problem. I was just thinking, geez, how am I going to do this? But after I did that show, I went for another podcast. And that was when I told people my marriage is done.
Yeah, I think I watched that.
All right. So during that episode, the guy told me, because when I was separated from her, I started doing a lot of me time, going back to what I used to do, going back, because when I was married, I felt, okay, you know what, being my second marriage, I needed to concentrate on my marriage. But some things happened. Then I just said, all right, you know what, there's no use. So I was now coming out. So this guy now asked me, I think it was Temisan. Temisan asked me, he said, do you think, because after that Bayou show, we now saw that you were becoming more relevant, more this thing. Don't you think that Bayou show now made you relevant again? In fairness, after that Bayou show, I started getting offers. Like it was before Christmas of the previous year. And I was booked, maxed out, jobs every, So I was thinking, these people, is it because of this Bayou show that they are giving me? What's that? So I had doubts about. I was like, is it this show that I said no, it can't be. So I was. Then the guy now asked me that question. Said, is it not that show that made you relevant again? I said, absolutely not. I'm Frank Edoho. And that's how the podcast ended. The guy said, and that's how we're going to end. Wow. It is, if I allowed self-doubt, I would be stuttering at that question. So, and you cannot afford, you see, destruction comes in very little ways, like self-doubt. And you shouldn't have self-doubt because nobody actually knows what they are doing until it becomes successful. So why are you going to have self-doubt? Because even the guy that is successful coming to lecture you now about success because he didn't know it at your stage. He didn't know. I mean, Bill Gates didn't know. Steve Jobs didn't know. They were just doing it. Let's see, let's do it. So just show up. All the self-doubt, kill it, and act like you're already the king of the world. And success will come because the universe is attracted to positive vibes and, I mean, the motivation that, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this thing and I will succeed. And chances are you will.
You will. That's true. You've spent years watching people make decisions under pressure on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What did that show teach you about how people relate to money?
If I want to use that show as a sample of what life is all about, it shows that if you chase money, if you are like, oh, money, and you lose your humanity, you understand, you're heading for destruction. That's just what the show is about. Because some people, okay, there's a guy, question 14, nailed it. He had 5 million naira. Then 5 million naira. The next question is about what? Super Bowl, American football. We're Nigerians, we don't watch American football. The question said, which team won the Super Bowl in 1990? One date like that. And I asked the guy, do you watch American football? He said, no. I said, all right, so that tells you what to do. You don't have any lifeline. What are you going to do? The guy said, I'm going to attempt this question.
Wow.
I said, all right, so let me put it in perspective. You have 5 million. Now, if you give me a wrong answer, going back to 250,000, you will lose 4,750,000 naira. I leave you to it. He said, Frank, I'm going to try.
Okay. Why is my heart pounding?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
He said, Frank, I'm going to try. I said, all right. This final answer, I said, hey, let me reiterate one more time. I don't know the answer here now because the answer is not actually there.
Oh.
No, the answer is not there. The answer is, so there's a little box. The box is grayed out. It's a gray box, very little. When the questions appear, as the person is seeing, as everybody's seeing the lozenges with the question, that's all I have too. I don't have the answers unless I know it on my own.
Okay.
I didn't know. See, most of those questions above, I don't know them. That's why I'm really asking you, is this your final answer? To give you a chance. Because me, I don't know. The guy said, I said, are you sure you're not going to walk away? So the guy is thinking, maybe I've seen the answer and I've seen that he's right. And I want him to, which is what I don't do. The answer is not here. The guy says, final answer. Final answer, the thing goes, dum. I'm afraid to look at the box. But I'm excited. I said, maybe this guy really knows this. I look at the box. The box, if you are right, it changes the color from gray to green, and it shows you the answer, the letter. But if you are wrong, It goes to red
Red.
and shows you the correct answer there too. The thing went red.
Oh my God.
I looked at the guy. No expression, but inside I was fuming. I was like, you dolt. I told you to walk away. So I go, right. I said, I have the answer here and I'm sorry, but we have to go for a commercial break. So went there, came back. During the commercial break, which the guy was looking at me for any microfiber of an expression that would tell him that I got it or I failed it. When we came back, I said, all right, so before you had 5 million. And I told you that you will lose 4.75 million naira if you give me a wrong answer. But you would win 10 million if you gave me the right answer. You went for this. If you went for this, it would have been wrong. But you didn't go for that. If you went for this, it would have been wrong. Between these two, you went for one. So one of them is right. The other one is wrong. You chose the wrong one.
Oh my God.
The guy, I could see blood drain from his face. That is, he went white. I didn't know for the first time what to say to him. I just said, I'm sorry. I shook his hand. I was just down throughout, and he left. So when he left, I was just explaining. Because people were thinking that, oh, is this money real? So I asked them, I said, what money? How much do you people even come and win? There's only very few people that reach.
That's true.
Yeah, some people, a couple of million, 1 million, 2 million. Because the show is designed that once you go higher, the tension is higher. Some people can't handle it. Some people say, you know what, let me just take the money and go. I said, okay, what would you have taken? The person said, I would have taken this. I said, well, if you did that, you would have been right. So some other guy will now say, yeah, would have been right. Okay, come. When he comes there again, say, yeah, that's final answer. They are wrong.
Oh my goodness.
So the show is just like a replica of life, you know. And if you chase money, you can't be chasing money all the time. Sometimes you have to pause and look around you, look at humanity and, you know, and sometimes decline. Sometimes.
You live in Lagos now, and
Lagos.
you probably have assets in Lagos.
Probably.
Yes. Do you think Lagos real estate prices have gone
Lagos real
over the
estate
roof?
prices
You're going to talk as
the real estate industry, I think it's armed robbery. Leonardo DiCaprio owns an island. I saw one post, somebody posted, Leonardo DiCaprio has an island, owns an island in America, an island. That island, the cost of the whole island is $1.7 million. There's a house in Osakpa. They call it a mansion. It's $1.5 million. Osakpa that has no drainage. What are we talking about? It's armed robbery. That means, where's the money coming from? Look at the minimum wage generally of the workers, people working in government. What's their minimum wage? Is it up to 100,000 naira? So, where are these people getting money? Mind you, the economy is down. Dollar, how much is dollar to the naira? Where are you people getting? Who is buying? Who are the people?
You know, this question you're asking, I get it a lot from Nigerians in diaspora, not Nigerians in Nigeria. So hearing you ask this question.
No, I'm asking, where are you people getting the money? It's even the people in diaspora are supposed to say, okay, because they are raising money in foreign currency. Where are the Nigerians? Please, who are your clientele? Where are they from? Are they government officials?
Not really, actually.
Are they Yahoo boys?
No.
So who? Pastors? Who?
Not pastors. So there are so many. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question again now, as a developer or as a property owner? Because I'll give you an instance. I recently had a client of mine who also questioned Nigerian real estate, come into Nigeria to build.
Okay.
And I was expecting a particular price, range, but he's selling at the prevailing rate or something slightly higher. Yeah. And I'm wondering why.
Because there's a precedence that's set. The real estate now.
If he's coming, you want to do something different. You want to crash the market. You want to.
No.
You don't want to be like every other person.
No, you can't crash the market, because if he crashes, that will not crash the market. You know what's going to happen? He gets a real estate agent, says, sell this thing. Maybe it's half the price of what other properties are going for. What's going to happen? You tell me. You as a real estate agent, you're going to buy that property and put it on the market along with that. Simple. So what are we saying? Are you going to really crash the market? You're not going to crash the market. So you real estate people, you people are supposed to be bundled in one, put in one dungeon. 1.5 million dollars.
Sometimes
if I have $1.5 million, I'm not going to give it to you guys.
You think so?
I'm not going to give it to you guys, because look, my ex-wife is an interior designer, and for almost a decade I handled her photography. I learned interior design photography. So before you know it, I started learning, development and stuff like that. I'm not going to give you $1.5 million. If I have $1.5 million, I'll go and get land and I'll build my house.
So now that's the problem.
It doesn't matter, because the land, because I can't help it with the land.
Yes.
Because the land, of course, the rates are monstrous. So what I'll do is I will still buy that month. So $1.5 million. If the land is $1 billion, I'll take money out there. I'll just buy the land. Then I will build my house. By the time I finish building my house the way I want, high ceilings, high doors. I have in my, in my sitting room, I can see the balcony, chandelier, everything, and I stock it. If I want to put the house in the market based on your price, that means I can sell it for $4 million. Based on your price.
Why would you sell it for $4 million?
I wouldn't, because that's my home. So I'm going to build it, but the worth, according to you guys, will be $4 million. If I wanted to buy a house like that, I would have had to pay $4 million. So instead, I use 1.5. That $1.5 million of the house in Osakpa gives me great mansion somewhere better with drainage and everything, and done to my taste, and is worth more than what you people are selling. That's it. So I just cracked the code.
So the thing is, we've had different people from different ideologies come on the show.
Okay.
We've had, and I think one of these days we're going to have both developers and, the consumers, the clients themselves. Let's have a conversation, because
it will not end well.
If they bundle real estate,
it will not end well. It's going to go to fisticuffs, because
oh my goodness,
these developers, they choose useless materials. I'm going to put the house.
I don't think it's everyone, because
I know there are few.
Yeah,
I've seen a few.
Okay.
In fairness, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but most of the developers are supposed to be bundled together. I have a few names, but I'm not going to mention them so that you don't get. So I have a few names of people. Look at the rubbish they are building. Build one cubicle. They'll say, excuse me, the houses in UK are small.
But do you think it's the fault of the clients themselves? Because one thing I've gotten to understand, there are some projects that piss me off. I can't even list them.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And before I say Jack sold, are we seeing a situation where the clients are not demanding for more? Because most of these projects, a project I saw recently, $4 million sold.
$4 million.
Yeah, I walked in there, I was immediately disgusted. Sold. Another one, I've seen lots of these projects, and I'm like, is it that the people buying it are not demanding for more? And of course, if developers see that, I don't need to do so much, and these people are buying it. So I believe that there is a fault from the consumers, from the clients also.
No, I think the problem starts with the person that put the price there. Now, if you put the price there, some of them have this remarkable ability of marketing. You understand? I don't know how they do it. And some of these clients, they don't really know what they just say, oh, I have a house. Maybe the house looks, humongous from outside. And inside you have little cubicles that, when you lie down and your head is in the bedroom, your leg is outside. So it's just compact, but outside, the layout is just rubbish. But they don't know any better. They don't know. You have to be exposed for you to know.
To buy a house of $4 million, there is a certain level of exposure that you would have had, for.
No.
Really?
You cannot equate net worth to exposure.
Okay.
That's why there's something like money misroad. You understand? You can't. Not everybody that has a pile of money knows what they are doing. Some of them, I could even buy that house to do money laundering or stuff. You just never know. They'll just do something and you never know what really goes on. But $4 million for a house that you went in and you were disgusted, that's wild.
That's really wild, actually.
That's wild. So,
but what some of the concerns I've heard is that most of this infrastructure, I believe we've not come to a time where there's synergy between the government and the developers. Because for most of these projects, you see that the developers are the ones putting in the infrastructure, constructing the roads, the drainages, the water, the electricity, putting all of these things. And then they are factored into the cost of the project or the cost of the land.
Well,
do you think that may be a reason for
you to now say one house in Osakpa, London is $1.5 million?
And another thing they said is, by the time you're selling that property, the cost of land around that area would have also increased. And so you need to make enough money to be able to stay in business, to buy more properties or more land to build.
No, but come on. How can you base the price on the next land you are buying?
Oh, that's what happens, actually. That's what happens. A lot of people base because I've seen scenarios where a property is sold and a developer can buy more lands basically because he was desperate to sell, he undersold, and then by the time he's done, the lands there have appreciated.
He still wants to buy land there.
Yeah, because that's his job, to develop, to build homes, to buy land.
Then go to where your money can buy land.
But there's no demand there.
There's no
demand, probably, like if you're going further down,
you
don't have so much demand.
So, but then that is why some places are congested and some places are not. So take development there. I mean, all these places that we live, even towards Ajah and everything, we were deserted before. It's this movement that caused civilization to go to those areas and development, and and it's still happening. The presence of the refinery has made people are so port. That's the thing. So it's not a must that you must be in Banana Island. Also, there are some people who their income bracket serves those areas,
but their eyes is still here.
Yes, that's why at the end they'll arrest you one day and put handcuffs on your ankle and hang you upside down. $1.5 million in this thing. The money that Leonardo DiCaprio used to buy a whole island. First of all, some people say, anytime there is war, please leave real estate developers for me, because I'll catch them. Because it's flagrant. It is the most annoying thing. All these guys that work for you now, what hope do they have now? What is their state of mind now? Are they thinking, okay, in a few years I'm going to have my own stuff, and then I'm going to buy a house? It's not there, because the price is outrageous for this economy. It is outrageous. That means somebody is stealing somewhere.
Do you think there is a fault in the government? Because I'm saying this because I've had different people come on the podcast, and a lot of people have voiced out on things that are not seen. That informs the prices, from lots of unnecessary approvals to lots of unnecessary PRs, payments that are not documented for, and then the infrastructure that they've paid for. Paid to the government, of course, but then they still have to do it because the government isn't doing it, and so many other things.
No, you're right. So I hosted last year the Real Estate Congress, World Real Estate Congress in Lagos. I think it was organized by FIAPSI, a body called FIAPSI. Yeah. So I hosted it, and I found out that The other world participants were just talking about what affects them, how to boost. You see a difference between them and the Nigerians there. There was one time I came out, I said, Nigerians, you are not saying anything. We have government officials here. Your problems that you face, you don't open your mouth. And people, they were telling me, shh. I said, you shh. I'm not a real estate. It's not my business. Am I in real estate? But you can't come and sit here and not talk to these government people about the problems you are facing. This is a World Congress. They were all silent because they now told me, we don't have to ask you. So all of you are complicit in this. You are acting as if you don't know. You are in the system. You're so entrenched in the system. You probably have Stockholm syndrome. So you are, this system is, you are happy with the system, but you're just voicing your thoughts.
Or maybe they don't want to be blacklisted. What do you think?
Well, you can't blacklist everybody.
Okay.
In the Congress, you cannot blacklist everybody. You are just asking questions. I know that you are going to quarrel. That's where communication is vital. You're like, hey, how do you think we're surviving? How do you think we're surviving? We have to do this, payments under the table, poor infrastructure, this and everything. And we are running a business and we've collected money from the banks.
Yeah.
And there are delays, price hikes and everything. With all of that, at the end of the day, you come and demolish our buildings, or you say, hey, this is this is that. You understand? I say, you have to say it here. But they don't. So my country, I understand Nigerians. I understand the country. I understand Nigerians. If you fight for Nigerians, when you fight enough for Nigerians, they'll start hating you and insulting you for fighting in the first place. So I don't even bother myself. I don't bother myself.
We've had some people in the entertainment industry come on board and talk about real estate, investing.
Okay.
And I've realized that a lot of them, they do not invest. They invest poorly. In your observation, why do high-earning Nigerians struggle to convert income into lasting assets? And at what point did you realize that I think it's about time I started investing in real estate?
Well, you see, I prefer to invest in my business and burgeon it and increase it than invest in real estate and leave it. Then, if I invest in real estate, what's going to happen now? How much rent am I going to get? If I'm not living there, how much rent am I going to get? Unless I want to sell it outright and use that, just turn it back into the business and be building more and use it as a recurring business. But what am I doing with a lot of real estate? Okay, maybe legacy for my children. So build like an estate of 10 buildings with apartments and everything. And unless I'm doing that at that massive scale, then I know, okay, I'm using this as a legacy project. But really, I mean, how much am I going to get for a house? That $1.5 million house, what's the rent going for? Around
120.
120 million per year.
Yeah, 120, 150 million per year.
120, 150. First of all, that's crazy.
People pay that. I think people want to be in a particular circle. So it's not just about the rent, it's the people in that place.
Okay, if you can afford it, fine. But I want to ask, are you the group head of the stable of companies? Where are you? I ask you a question. You're not telling, because this house you're talking about is not the only house that is that amount. There are many of them. That means your industry knows that is a market and people are selling and people are buying.
That's true.
I want to know, who are these people? $1.5 million in this economy. Oh, $1.5 million that's almost $2 billion.
That's what some apartments are going for, not even a house.
That's apartments.
Yeah.
Maybe in the choice, in the upscale areas. Maybe. So that is even wild. But now there are some family, don't get me wrong, there are some people wealthy enough to do this, but there are not many like enough for you people to have a proliferation of houses. The one guy, he was saying, that has $1.5 million was the least house there. The one said that one is 2.5. This one is 3.5. I said, this mouth that you're using to talk this thing, I'll just knock that mouth.
Oh my goodness.
So Instead, because of the factors militating against us, the consumers, instead of that, if I have that money, I'm not going to give it to one developer. I'll develop myself.
So how do you play in the real estate market?
How? I don't understand.
What are you doing now in real estate?
I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
Real
What would you
estate.
advise people to do?
I don't think I'm in a position to advise people, apart from any developer that sells a house for 1.5 million, squeeze his neck, give him, choke him. What kind of nonsense is that? Now there are some
developers.
Okay, now there are some high. Okay, there are some people building high rises with apartments with and stuff like that. Like there are some houses in Eco Atlantic.
Yeah.
So it has an elevator. It has stuff and stuff. Okay, I'll be like, all right. You know what? This is giving Manhattan or Miami. All right, no problem. And you know that okay. This area is a posh area. We are talking about Osaka, London. First of all, it shouldn't have been named London.
we have beautiful estates and communities here at Osaka.
Yeah, but let it rain.
No, the estates are actually very,
The estates are said, but are you going to fly your car from there? You are driving out and come to all these undulating terrains. What are you going to do? Okay, so you will now go every time. You will go into all as if you are in the great outdoors. Then you will now reach your posh area, and you say, okay, and you will now be cocooned in the reality that okay, this place is. Then when you go out now, reality hits you hard. So I think
that's one thing the government needs to. I was thinking about this some time ago, and maybe I was thinking. I tried cautioning myself, but at the same time, I was like, come, let's call a spade a spade.
Okay.
I was feeling like probably, is it because you have some little money now you're thinking like this? Now, these are my thought processes. If it's highbrow area, everything needs to be highbrow. The access...
Okay, if it's highbrow, everything, yes.
Everything
That's what
needs
I'm
to
saying.
be highbrow.
The amenities, everything.
We have facilities, we have great communities, but like you said, the access to this community, and then the hoodlums we have that get to harass you before you get into your community. So it's just been something that I've been pondering about, and I'm saying it as someone who is playing in the real estate space. I think it's something that the government, because I know there's so much the developers are doing right now.
Okay.
Because of the infrastructure and these are the things that they are not supposed to be doing in developed walls.
Okay.
You build, it's plug and play.
Absolutely.
You come in and everything is there. But here you have developers doing the underground electrification, putting in water. So I know they're doing so much, but there has to be a system where if you are calling this place highbrow, yes, the developers have done their part to build beautiful gated communities.
Of course.
Access, I'm saying this because, around these areas where people come and if you don't give them money, they attack you. Young children, they come.
Tell me about it. That's why they call our country Abegistan.
Oh my goodness, Abegi.
That's what South Africa and Namibia told us now. Abegistan. Yes.
Jeez.
They were calling us Abegistan.
Oh my God.
I saw a training Abegistan. I said, what's this? They said, that's the name of our country.
I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to defend.
They got it from Kazakhstan and Pakistan and all. They say Abegistan. God. Jesus Christ. Till now. Anybody that talks to me and I say, see you, they told you, called you Abegistan, you couldn't answer. Beg, go. It is C. But somehow, when you look at it now, I see millions, I see a horde of people like that. And I'm wondering, how are they surviving? How are they surviving? Because they are not being accounted, they are not accounted for. That's why I don't like going into, because I know if I start talking the way my heart feels, I would have been arrested since. Because I will say it.
The way it is.
I'll say it the way it is. That's why, So I'm coming up with the podcasts.
Okay.
Now, it's going to come up this year, and I'm thinking, I'll say, When they said, all right, my team goes politicians and everything, I said, they're not going to come and sit in front of me because I'm going to ask you the questions. How did you buy your Rolls Royce? Walk me through it. How does public, do you have a business on the side? What kind of business is it? Is it legit? What do you do? Which industry is it? So when I start, unfolding those layers, they're not going to be able to answer me. Because why is the Prime Minister in the UK uses the damn train? There are some people, don't get me wrong, that have businesses and they were wealthy before they go into government. But even then, it's not a good look for you to be driving a Rolls Royce while you're in government, because you are also ruling the downtrodden. They're going to see you driving a Rolls Royce. You look as if you don't have a care about them. It's psychological. So I would have asked, so I don't want like indulging in those things, because they'll now say, can you imagine I'm asking questions when America decided to, on Christmas Day, bomb some parts of northern Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I was asking on Twitter, I said, hey, we've not heard anything from our government. We've not, what's going on and everything. And, somebody said, you that you are talking, can you rule Nigeria for, I said, based on what I'm saying, yes, I can. I can do better than that. It's not that you don't need, so people think you need a special talent to rule. You don't need, you just have to know what is being done wrong and try to eradicate it. I'm not saying it's easy, because there are like cartels and, cabals embedded in government. You understand? You have to just take a stand and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. But if you probably do it, they might be bigger than you. They might oust you in an impeachment. It's difficult, I know, but there are some things that you still have to do to cover up. So you have to try as much as possible to explain to your people, give them a sense of belonging. Say, I know what you guys are facing, but this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to do, and I want to get to this. Then when we get there, we come back again and see how we can go further. You are supposed to. You don't treat people like just saying, I better leave them. Is it not them? And they are right, because anybody. I mean, I'll be surprised to just see somebody's complaining about hardship. Another idiot is coming out to say, can you do a better job? It shows you the level.
Yeah.
And that's why these other, if I show you what other countries said about us.
Oh my goodness.
It is right on the money.
Wow.
You say, are you taking Nigerians seriously?
Oh my goodness.
They say, are you taking Nigerians seriously? People, you say, South Africans, you say, at least our own, when apartheid was there, that was real slavery. Nigerians don't even know that they're in slavery.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, that hit hard.
See, they gave me, I just looked at the history of my country. I just kept quiet. They say, Frank, I said, no, please, no. I said, as I did hospital, I'm recovering from those people. So that's the thing. I mean, even it's only in real estate, we need to revitalize a lot of things. Education is not even.
Yeah.
But that education thing, I'm happy there's the internet, because the internet gives you education. You can get any education there. So but the problem is the populace, the majority of the populace of Nigerians, they don't read, they use their data to do other things. Yes, instead of read or replenish knowledge. But some of them do. Some people do, but that's just an infinitesimal percentage of Nigerians that do that. So, education is not regarded as anything. Healthcare, we're just going on auto. I mean, how can someone suffer a snake bite?
Oh my goodness.
Snake bite, we don't have anti-venom.
That was so pathetic, so sad.
The girl just dies. Just like that. No in a country like this.
So sad.
It just shows that, we're just living on borrowed time. Anything that happens.
So you believe there is hope, right?
There's no hope.
Oh my God.
What do you want me to say? See, leave all these people that are saying there is no hope. Before there used to be hope because now the citizens had one accord. Everybody said this must stop, this must stop, this must stop. Even my time in school, when we were doing demonstrations against the military government, IBB, we will go to the streets and we'll raid a base and take an armored tank out in school. All one accord, but they were military people. Now, that is not military. Nobody can even speak. There's no, see, the citizenry has been compromised. There's no, me, the thing is, I'll see how it is, and I'll just try and make do and see how I'm going to thrive in this, because I don't want to leave this country. I don't want to leave the country.
It's home.
Yeah, it's home, but home is dangerous sometimes. You have to leave home sometimes. Home is dangerous. But you know what? I don't know. I just like the country. And even if the population, some of them, they're crazy and everything, I love my fellow Nigerians. I just, it's just like when you have, you can't choose your origin. You are just there amongst them. So you have to try. But they are very annoying. There's no hope. You are going to be this. Do you know when we started looking for this hope? Do you know when? Since the early 90s. Since the early 90s. And more than 30 years later, more than 3 decades later, we're still talking, and it's getting worse. So what are we saying? What are we saying, sir? What are we talking? Which hope? If it's prayers, something would have happened. I'm not saying that there's God. I believe in God, but I believe that the nations that are popular, the nations that are that are prosperous, it's not about God. It's not about God. It's about the people. I think because we have so many ethnicities, that's one of the reasons we are not united. Even then, even if we all spoke one language in Nigeria, we'll still be divided. Because, brother will go against brother. There's too much animosity. I don't feel there's hope. And people are going to misconstrue it now and say, hey, you say there's no hope. Well, you know what? If you die, that's what I said. That's what I said.
I
said what I said. So you now tell me why you think there's hope. Don't come and say, you shouldn't say that. You see, and that's one of the problems that we have. I say there's no hope, and I have the indices to back it up. What you tell me, where's this hope coming from? We're just sitting back waiting. But I like Nigeria because in hardship comes a lot of creativity. So there are some Nigerians actually making change. Some Nigerians are making change. You won't believe it. There's a girl that recycles.
Yeah.
There's a girl that recycles. A girl that does crochet. There are many talents there in spite of the hardship. Those are the people I respect. Those are the people that give me hope. But hope that one day all this will turn around. We'll just sit back like this, like magic. Everything. Oh, this. We suddenly have drainage. We suddenly have.
I think it's going to be a process, but I believe.
How many years? What kind of process?
Rome was not built in a day, so.
Rome was not built in a day, but does it mean that in the olden days, Rome was not beautiful? Let people stop that thing. Is Rome not the home of the Colosseum? When gladiators used to come and fight in that, it was beautiful. Let's not be. When they say Rome wasn't built in a day, even ancient Paris and they were beautiful places. Not that they were like this. Beautiful places, well thought out. How did old people in the olden days build the pyramids in Egypt? Do you know how accurate? Then we're saying Rome wasn't built in a day. Let me sit down with that. It's just an excuse that people said. Rome was beautiful those days. Even in the movie Gladiator, people said, I wish to be in Rome. Olden days. Rome wasn't built in a day. Let me sit down there. Using that as an excuse, Rome was saying, is a process. How many times have you seen two politicians come together in one accord, even in the same government, the same political party? How many times they'll come together and say, okay, you know what, we need to forge this and do this and do this, and it happens. How many times? There's everybody's self-interest, whether you like it or not. That's what I see. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong by making a change. People are going to say this. You are the one that said yes. I said it. I'm a grown-ass man. I said it. Prove me wrong. It's not about you getting angry. That's the thing. The first thing we have to realize as a nation is their opinions. You know what you do to sway people's opinions? It's action, not more opinions. People feel connected with people that share the same opinion. You go and look at the comments. Thank you. You said my mind. Thank you. They'll be so happy. They are so happy to be that their opinion is accepted more than change. It's an opinion that is just what it is, an opinion. It's not tangible. Because you know what, by this time tomorrow, you might change your opinion.
That's true.
So it's not constant. But change is. So that's the problem. That's why I say, if there's any hope, maybe. But I don't see it. I don't see it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so where do we see Frank in 5 years? And I think you mentioned cinematography. You should do something. You should do a Robert Downey kind of movie, a Marvel kind of, with all your experience. What are you doing about it? You see?
I don't want to see.
The change starts from you doing something about it.
What you changing? What cinematography?
Someone's gonna beat me right here.
No. See. Okay. The thing I like about cinematography, I like being behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, behind the scenes. So now, the problem I have with cinematography is I heard about the ludicrous percentage that cinemas are taking. So I'm going to make a movie, and you, because you have architecture to display my movie, are going to take a huge chunk of my intellectual property. I think filmmakers struggle too much, and they're not supposed to, because they are brilliant. Now, the movies coming out, Nigerian movies coming out, they are so brilliant. And I was even in one of them called Stitches. Ramsey Noah.
Yeah.
Ramsey Noah calls me and says, Frank, I have a role for you. I said, Ramsey, avoid me. I'm not going to do it. He said, no, Frank, this role is different. I said, that's what you said. I said, that's what Moses Enwang said many years ago. You understand? Moses Enwang called me, said, wants me to do, I'll be like an art collector. I'm going to be this thing. I said, Moses, leave me alone. Then he came with Jim Ike, said, we're going to do like a cop, a sidekick movie, me and Jim Ike. I said, yeah, Jim is my guy. But I said, I don't think I have the acting chops for this. So Ramsey now puts me in the movie. And I was playing an MC. I said, yeah, that I can do now. I said, because I'm an MC, I'll just do it. So I was introducing somebody at the wedding, one big wedding in the film. So I said, all right, Ramsey, I'll do it. And I did the movie. But the problem I'm having is that in spite of the good movies that are coming out, Kemi, Funke Akindele, Kunle Afolayan, the rest of them, they're coming out with great stuff. But the problem I have, are they making the money back though? Are they making the money back? The percentage of cinema, when you display abroad, it's not about the cinema, it's about the movie. Of course, there'll be percentages, but it's not, criminally lopsided. I feel it is. And that's what these filmmakers are going through. They are barely scraping. That's why YouTube became a thing. They rather put their movies on YouTube and just make direct income. Even then, that's small, but at least they have the satisfaction of knowing that this income is coming directly to me. YouTube is doing virtually what the cinemas are supposed to do, and that is give most of the income back to the filmmaker so that they can make more and the industry can grow. So me shooting, no. Maybe I can do a short film just to show people that, you know what, I can do
I
this.
got
thing.
it.
Yeah. Then, but me, I think in 5 years, I'm still going to be, I've always done media. I'm still going to be in media. I'm still going to be hosting events, but so I'm thinking of my own game show. So the problem with Wants to Be a Millionaire is for you to show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on Nigerian television, you have to pay the owners of the franchise money. The money is humongous every year. So before you have started shooting stuff, you have paid money. Huge franchise fees. That's why Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is capital intensive. So I said, all right, let me just construct my own show so that from the get-go, I'm not paying it. I'm the owner of the show. I've trademarked it. I've copyrighted it. Then I'm going to, try and get sponsors so that even if I gather sponsors and I do it, I can grow the show without huge, the money is too much. But it's not their fault because it's too much for us, but it's not too much for them because their currency is stable. Ours depends on them.
That's true.
So, and we're talking about the UK. So it's pound sterling. It's not, it's not dollars, it's pound sterling, and that's what we're paying. So it's very difficult. So I've formulated my own game show and I'm going to do it. I'm out to the podcast. Talk shows are not it anymore because the new iteration of talk shows are podcasts now. Everybody has a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So talk. You can now go and say, I want to do a talk show. In America, it is a miracle that it's a miracle that the talk shows are surviving, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and the rest, and the Daily Show and stuff. But in Nigeria, we never really had a tradition of talk shows. So that's why I'm going away from that. I'll do a podcast instead and bring some of the stellar qualities of broadcasting into it.
Okay.
And try and bring, in terms of questioning, in terms of, because for a podcast to be really interesting, you need to have an interesting guest that can talk. Yes. But what if you don't have how do you do it when you don't have really interesting, that you say, what do you think of the real estate? You say, it's fine. Why do you think at the end you will be the one answering?
I know, right?
The question. So you really need to know how to bring them out. Maybe find out what their interests are and let them start like that. And they talk about the interest. Then when you ask them another question, they now flow in a similar style. So it's very challenging. It's very challenging.
I know.
On Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I used to meet people. I'm like, all right, so what are you going to use the money for? What's your business? I said, oh, sorry. You have not even won the money. Yeah, sorry, no vex. All right. I said, okay. So what do you enjoy doing? I enjoy winning money on game shows. Please, let's get back to the questions. So, it's very challenging. So that's why I'm going to be there. I'm still going to be in media. I love media, and media is something that I'll do to the end. I'm not going to retire from media because it's my passion. It's fun, so. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
My last question.
Talk to me.
If Nigeria forgot everything about Frank Edoho tomorrow, the show, the voice, the brand, what's the one thing you would want to be remembered for?
I have that thing already. My children. That's all. I don't like this fame thing. Because I'm a regular guy, I like to buy bolly and groundnuts on the road. Frank, this thing. There was one time I went to Lagos Island on a bike. And one guy just looked at me, did a double take, and tapped his friend. Is that not Frank? I was looking at him too. And he looked at me and just said, nah, I don't think that's him. That's not him. The fame thing, I don't like being patronized. When I go play, hey, they start hailing me. I hate that thing. But you know what I prefer? I prefer someone come, hey, are you Frank? I say, yeah. Oh, I love what you're doing. That's I like. Because you're not making a fanfare of it. I don't like, and the problem with fame is that if you chase it, it will leave you. But if you don't chase it, it will chase you. If you don't chase it, you're like this. That's when the thing will change. Many years ago, I went to Linköping. Linköping is a town in Sweden. Linköping. It's spelled Linkoping, but it's pronounced Linköping. I went there. The only black guy, I went to a mall like this. The only two black guys that were there was me and one black guy on a billboard. Only black guys.
Wow.
Was there. And I had a woman walk up to me. Excuse me, are you from Nigeria? I said, how did you know? He said, yeah. You know, I went to Nigeria once. Are you the guy that who wants to be a millionaire? And I said, damn, how did you know? He said, when I was in Nigeria, we used to watch that show. And everything. I was recognized in Linköping, in a far-flung area of Sweden. You understand? And I am somebody who I am not like a fame whore. I'm not. If I enter a place, nobody recognizes me. The happiness that overflows in my heart. Oh, Jesus. I'll just be there. But I go into a place. Some people will just be looking and some will come. And anybody that asks me, even if I'm not in a good mood or I'm going through stuff, even when I was going through stuff like that, depression and everything, people come to me and ask for photographs. I'll switch. I will stand there and let everybody snap. But take pictures. I have to be patient because obviously it means a lot to them. You know, someone came to me and said, hey, you are so lucky. I said, how? He said, you're lucky. Everybody wants to take pictures with you. I said, what kind of luck is that? I said, that's not luck. I said, I prefer making money to all this. This is just where I stand tonight. But how has that increased me? I said, I am not. He said, no, but you are so famous. I said, I don't think I'm that famous. He said, what level of fame would you attain that will convince you that you are famous? I said, I'll tell you. The level of fame that will convince me that I'm really famous is if I'm so famous and I go to my children's school and they look at me and said, you're so famous, don't pay school fees. Let them be. NEPA comes to me, gives me unlimited distance. Say, Frank, I love you so much that then a Ebano supermarket just comes and packs this. Say, Frank, take anything. That's when I would now, myself, I'll go and I'll go on an Instagram live. Say, my brothers, don't try me. I'm a famous guy. Don't try me. Have you ever received constant credit from MTN or constantly? That's when. But if not, I think I prefer money to fame. And I'm surprised every time that when some people are rich, like me, if I'm a billionaire in dollars, you're not going to see me on the internet now. You're not going to see. Why are you seeing me on the internet? What are you talking about? The private jets gone. I go to Ibiza. I go to Singapore. I go to Amsterdam. I'll just be chilling, doing business, shopping, doing this, chilling, sipping pina coladas on my rooftop next to the house of 1.5 million naira, $1.5 million in Osakpa, London. I'll just buy one of those houses just to spite my neighbors. And I'll be doing parties every day, loud and everything. They want to get me out of the neighborhood. I won't. I will be causing problems. Then I'll now say, okay, to frustrate developers, I'll now say, okay, I'm putting the house up for sale. They say, how much you want to sell it? I said, 200 million naira. 200 million naira. And I'm not selling.
We will run.
I'm not selling to any developer. I need direct this thing so that it will force the prices down. Since all of us we are mad, let us be mad finally.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. It's been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on our podcast. To you out there, I'm sure you enjoyed this episode. My name is Confidence, and I'll see you on the next episode. This is Key to Keys.